If you want to know how the war is going in Afghanistan, there's no better place to go than the tiny American combat outposts all along the border with Pakistan. The fight you'll see is brutal, the intensity unlike anything we've witnessed in 9 years of covering this war. U.S. soldiers from the 101st Airborne Division are locked in a never-ending battle with a relentless enemy that uses the border as an open door. The soldiers say that as fast as they can kill them, they just keep coming. Across the border from safe havens in Pakistan, trying to kill as many Americans as they can. 60 Minutes was given extraordinary access to the men of the 101st, who are on the front line of the border fight, operating from around 50 combat outposts and forward operating bases along a 450-mile stretch of the most dangerous frontier in the world. Our trip began at Combat Outpost Zurak, just 12 miles from the Pakistani border.
The story will continue in a moment.
This one came in yesterday. It's a 107 rocket.
3 minutes after Captain John Hintz started explaining how to stay alive on his base.
Then things are going great. That's incoming.
The first rocket hit.
Camera crews, camera crews. Hey, let's go, right here, right here.
It was the first hour of our first day at Combat Outpost Zurak.
Here we go. Let's go.
Location.
Already we were getting a taste of what Captain Hintz and his men lived through every day. And they've been doing this for 7 months. Within 10 minutes, the barrage was over. It had wounded 2 of Hintz's men. Specialist Peter Kuiper's shirt was soaked with blood from wounds to his head. They're all used to dealing with injuries here. 40 out of Hintz's 88 soldiers have been awarded Purple Hearts for wounds received in combat.
All right, well, let's walk up this way a little bit.
The 40-year-old commander from Iowa has received 3 Purple Hearts himself. This is a tough fight, and you're in one of the worst places. I mean, even for somebody like you with a rough tour in Iraq under your belt, surviving 8 roadside bombs.
I don't even think that's uncommon, though. I mean, I've got to be honest.